Welcome to the enhanced version of the Jeff Rubin Show. The enhanced version means that there are pictures, so when you hear this noise, take a look at whatever you are using to listen to the show, because there is some kind of picture I want to show you. It's probably of Quidditch, just so you know what we're talking about. That's all you need to know. You're now ready to embark on the journey. That is episode 22 of the Jeff Rubin Show. Here we are. Enjoy. This is the Jeff Rubin Show. I am Jeff Rubin here with Casey Johnston from Ars Technica, and I am very excited because we are at the International Quidditch World Cup on Randall's Island. Thank you for joining me, Casey.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
And it's kind of the end of the day now. The sun's going down, but we've been here all day walking around talking to people that were helped put this on, some of the players, and we'll be cutting back and forth between those interviews. But first of all, let's explain. This is a real sport that people are playing. This
is a real sport. It requires athleticism. People are
running around. I could not be playing this. Colleges from all over the country have come here. We're on Randall's Island in New York. There's 1,000 people here. This is very much a real thing. This is not some abstract improv comedy, but you can probably hear them in the background. This is a real Quidditch tournament that we are at.
There's teams from high schools. There's some ad hoc teams who have no school they're attached to, or just in it for the fun of it. Well, probably everyone's in it for the fun of it, I think.
I think that's kind of the first thing that strikes you when you get here is just what a scene it is and how many people are here. It was a while after we got here until we actually even saw anyone playing Quidditch. There's just people enjoying the day.
Oh, yeah. There are tons of spectators. What did they say? There were 10,000 people here altogether, about 2,000 playing. So there's like 8,000 people just here to see it all go down.
Which is crazy. We sat down, we watched our first Quidditch game ever, and I had a little trouble following the rules at first. This is the end of the day right now as I'm talking to this microphone, but we've been talking to people all day, and we're going to go back and forth to those interviews, some events as they happen throughout the day. Let's go back and listen to Casey and I watching our first Quidditch game, trying to figure out those rules. We are about to watch our first Quidditch match. Neither of us exactly know the rules. Something we just learned is that the snitch in this version is a person.
That's correct.
There's an actual dude running around the field, stretching, and he's dressed in yellow. The teams are in green and blue.
He's wearing golden shoes.
Now that you mention it, I actually don't know what teams we're watching. Can you see what's on their jerseys here?
These guys?
Yeah.
Pleasantville. Can't read the bottom line. Pleasantville Quidditch is all it says.
Oh, is Pleasantville a school?
The other team, I don't know.
So we don't know who's playing. We're still trying to figure out the rules. So the snitch, Casey noticed, has like something of, I don't know, it's almost like a reverse ball sack kind of, where he's got this sock. I don't know any other, I don't mean to be vulgar, there's a lot of kids
Actually,
around,
the way they do it is they put a tennis ball in a sock and hang it from his waistband, and that's when a team seeker grabs...
Wait, do you know the rules?
Grabs the balls. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, what? I thought you didn't know what the game was. I don't know how the game
I read up.
Okay, so, all right, break it down for me. So this guy's got the ball. I wanted to kind of... Because I used to play this rugby video game in college, and the most fun part was trying to learn how rugby actually worked, kind of like probing it and trying to figure out the rules. So I was kind of, I thought it'd be fun to come here and just figure it out as we go, but you actually did some preparation. How does the game work?
Well, the snitch runs around. He's doing right now, actually.
Yeah, he's taking a few warm-up laps.
He tries to evade both of the seekers.
So the snitch is neutral.
He is a neutral player. He is from neither team.
Yeah, it's unclear exactly how he was recruited, if they just have...
Yeah, we were just wondering that.
We don't know that, but... Anyway, the seekers from each team are going to try to get the ball from this dude.
That's correct. And then the rest of the team, the chasers, handle the quote-unquote quaffle, which is a volleyball.
Okay.
And the beaters handle 2 dodgeballs. I think 2 dodgeballs.
Yeah, I see some dodgeballs out there.
There's 3 of them out there right now.
Okay, so the beaters, because... All right, let's break this down. In the book, the beaters were like the Weasley twins, and they try to like knock people off of their brooms. Here, the role of the beaters is to just throw dodgeballs at everyone trying to play the game.
Yes, that's correct.
That sounds fun. They should let the audience play along with that.
Yeah.
And there's 3 rings set up, so everyone else will be trying to pass the volleyball through the ring.
Yes.
Now, something I remember, I don't totally remember all the rules from Harry Potter, real quote-unquote real Quidditch from the book, but something I remember our friend Susanna once pointing out to me is that the game was totally inconsequential until the Seeker found the snitch. Like, the rest of the game didn't really matter. Like, the Quidditch, it was like, you know, there's this whole game going on, and also whoever finds the snitch first is like automatic champion of the universe.
Yeah, pretty much. Ever since you brought this up to me, I've been thinking about how incredibly imbalanced this game is, because...
And it makes sense from a narrative point of view because Harry's the Seeker.
Right.
But is that adapted into the game? Like, is this all nonsense and we should really be focusing on the snitch and the people chasing him?
I mean, that is the most interesting part, I would say. It's not impossible for one team to upset the other by just scoring a ton of goals. And if one team is really good at scoring goals, it's to the benefit of both teams to catch the snitch really fast. So there's an element of strategy there.
Let's see what the sign says. Magic is might, go pure bloods. So it's kind of like a like a wrestling thing where they're playing kind of a heel role.
This is a Slytherin style team. They are a take no prisoners, merciless. Their colors are green and white. That's why I say that.
Now, obviously the teams don't fly, but I do see people holding broomsticks.
And they're not just like broomsticks you get from Walmart. These are broomsticks with handles molded like they are in the movies. They have like little sort of notches on the end.
Oh yeah, like that section of Sky Mall where they have like Harry Potter replica wands and like $200 batarangs.
The team all has the same broom. They're uniform brooms.
There was a security check to get in, and I heard two different people make the same joke about them checking for wands, which is, it's a great joke.
That is a good joke.
Wow. There's a lot of tents set up. I'll have to get a picture of that. There's a lot of tents set up, and it's unclear right now if people are actually sleeping here or if it's just to kind of go with the Harry Potter theme and how in the Harry Potter World Cup there was a tent village.
Oh yeah, there was a tent city there. I'm curious, like this entire game must revolve around how long the snitch can run around, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because he's not like a tireless actual snitch. He is...
No, I feel like wasn't there one match in the Harry Potter books that took like hours or something?
I don't think in the actual books there was, but in the supplementary book to the series Quidditch Through the Ages, they spoke of games that went on for months.
Wow, really? Wait, you read the what are the
Oh, yes.
That was like they were for charity, right?
I think so.
They're for charity or something
sold
stupid
in
like
a set of two. Yeah. Who needs money? They were set of two. Quidditch Through the Ages and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Quidditch Through the Ages was the superior text. A lot of good tidbits.
Is there like a plot, or is it just like reading a Wikipedia article about a fictional sport?
It's pretty much like a Wikipedia, an old-fashioned encyclopedia type thing. Actually, two separate people gift me this set of books.
Wow! So
for Christmas.
That says all we need to know about Casey.
I know. I have the hardcover and the paperback.
What do you think's at stake here? Like, what does the winner get?
Oh man, I don't know. Honor.
What did you get when you won the Quidditch World Cup, or when you get points for your house, right?
Well, you mean?
Well, you got
the World Cup or the House Cup?
I guess there was the House Cup, and then there was the World Cup.
It's not even the House Cup. It's like this. I forget what they call it.
I guess it was like an element of the House Cup, where like I think you got points for Quidditch, but then if like Neville was courageous or something, that was also worth points. I was a little overwhelmed by the rules at that point, but as the day went on, I felt like I was more and more able to follow the game. You learned what to look for. If something happened that wasn't the thing you were actually looking at, you could kind of get a sense. I don't know if I can think of another sport that's this chaotic, where like usually in football or baseball or whatever it is, as I understand it, there's the ball, and you watch the person with the ball. But here, there's things going. You could be watching the ball, and something very important could be going on the other side of the field.
Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff going on at once. I mean, generally you want to keep your eye on the quaffle, but then if the snitch shows up, that's definitely going to be the most interesting thing going on.
What do you think of the people that have traveled to play the game?
I mean, I don't know. They must not have too much going on where it is they are normally, but...
It's very much like a college club kind of feel, I think.
I mean, this is it's not like they're a traveling soccer team. They're going to games every other weekend. This is like their one event.
This is like the Model UN.
Once a year.
What is that when they all get together? Like... Isn't there a Model? I don't know.
Model UN sounds right.
But there's like a Model UN like summit, the summit when they all get together. This is the Model UN summit, but even cooler somehow. It's even cooler.
Yeah.
We talked to, remember, Brittany, who was the captain of the Hofstra team.
Yes.
This is very exciting. We are here with Brittany, captain. Is this correct? Captain.
Nice.
Of the Hofstra Quidditch team. Thank you so much for joining us, Brittany.
Hi.
So, how hard was it for you guys to get down here?
Oh, it wasn't too bad. We're only about a half an hour away, so we all just carpooled.
What does the Quidditch team do during the parts of the year when you're not at the International Quidditch World Cup? Like, are you guys doing scrimmages? Are you still playing other schools throughout the year?
Oh yeah, we practice year-round. We practice in the snow. We practice in the rain. We practice all year.
How did you get involved in this? Why not, just for argument's sake, some more of a traditional sport?
I think Quidditch is the most traditional sport there is. We actually were a fairly new team. We started last year. I found out through a Facebook group that we were forming a Quidditch team, and I was like, whoa, no way, this cannot be happening. So I had to go check it out, and comes to find out it's a real sport and it's legit.
Did you know at the time that were you surprised that your school was starting a team, or that anyone was actually playing Quidditch?
Well, I had heard of Quidditch before and that people were actually playing it. I was just really excited that Hofstra was forming a team.
So can you help? We just tried to interpret the rules by watching the game, but I feel like we still have a few questions.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so the snitch started by just kind of taking off for the court. He just ran off the field immediately. Does he not come into play for a while? How does that work?
There's a thing called a seeker floor, and so it gives about 5 minutes for the snitch to go and hide and run around and do whatever he wants. The snitch can technically stay on the field if he wants, but that's not as fun. They like to go around and cause chaos and havoc first.
But they're still part of the game, even when they're running around.
Yeah, they're still part of the game. The chasers the seekers are still trying to find them, so it's a lot of running.
So then, what happens when they find him? They bring him back to the field. He just showed up again at one point. Was he just lost?
Eventually, the snitch comes back to the field because they like all of the attention from the audience. But there is the chance that a seeker can snatch the snitch while he's off the field. So.
And who are these snitches? Because they're neutral. They're not on either team. How do these snitches get chosen? Are they volunteers?
Oh yeah, basically people volunteer, people that are cross-country runners, they just like to throw people around and get away with it.
It's a pretty physical sport. Has your team ever seen any injuries?
Oh yeah, I believe last year Colleen threw out her knee, and Steve over here he's been stabbed in the throat with a broom before and it snapped in half.
What was it like when you got really injured and you had to go to the hospital and explain that you were injured playing Quidditch?
I didn't end up going to the hospital because that'd be really embarrassing to explain, so I just sort of suffered it in silence.
Perfect.
Nice.
What other rules question? Is it like the book where the snitch it's all about the snitch and whoever gets the snitch kind of automatically wins? I'm seeing some head shaking now.
The way we play Muggle Quidditch, they make the field play a lot more important, whereas in the books the snitch is worth 100 points, here it's only worth 30. So it gives 50? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I can't talk.
So they really devalue the snitch in Muggle Quidditch then. Wow.
But it still ends the match. So are you not trying to... Is this strategy... And maybe we can't talk about it because we don't want to reveal your strategy to other teams. But so you're not trying to... If you're behind by more than 30 points, you don't want to catch the snitch, right?
Right, you want to try to gain enough points where it won't tie or you won't lose from the snitch catch. But at the same time, you don't... If you're losing by a lot of points, sometimes you want to catch the snitch so that the point differential is not as spread out.
Is Muggle Quidditch like regular Quidditch in that your rank is determined by the number of points you score instead of your wins and losses?
The first step is wins and losses. They look at wins and losses first.
Okay.
But if you're tied with wins and losses, then they look at the point difference.
Okay.
Just getting anywhere can be difficult. Just coming to New York City can be difficult. But Hofstra's not that far away. We also talked to that dude, Steve, who was here with his team from Minnesota.
Yeah, that is a long trip.
Here is Steve. What position do you play in Muggle Quidditch?
I'm a chaser.
So you guys are from Minnesota. That's pretty far to come for Quidditch, isn't it?
That is a long
Yeah, actually, last year we came to the World Cup and we took an RV. It was about 20. How long is it, guys? 28 hours in an RV, all of us. This year we flew, so it was a little bit better.
Wow.
How do you guys get that together? Is this like a university funded thing? How do you guys just all come to New York for this?
Yeah, we're a club at our university, so we have about 100 members, I think, and we kind of narrowed down into 200 this year. And we narrowed down to a competition team and see who can go and who's available, and then we just kind of pull it all together. Sometimes it's at the last minute. So.
Is it only the best players are here? Are you guys the elite Minnesota Quidditch players?
We're the best.
100 people is a pretty decent sized club.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of, we range from people who are just having fun to people who get really into it, and it's great.
What are you most excited about here at the International Quidditch World Cup?
Well, I think it already happened, actually. The Middlebury team, who hasn't lost a game ever, lost their first game today. That was really exciting.
Wow.
Michigan beat them. So, yeah, they've won all the World Cups, and they lost today. So that was awesome.
This year, World Cup up for grabs.
Are they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are they knocked out now? Is this single elimination?
No, right
or?
now we're just playing in our pools, and then tomorrow starts the single elimination.
Oh, okay. All right. So they're still in it then. They can still win. Oh boy.
What is your strategy? Is it different when you come out here? What are you guys looking to do out there on the Quidditch field today?
One of the biggest things, we kind of learn a little bit from every team we play, so we kind of steal strategies from other teams. We kind of have a zone defense, and we learn that from other teams, and then the rest is just kind of hustling.
Is everyone on the team a Harry Potter fan, or is it possible to be involved in this sport and, just enjoy the game?
It definitely helps. Has anyone not read the books here? He hasn't read all the books, but most of us, yeah.
You lost interest though?
Yeah. Books are too long. It's too many words and not enough pictures,
You watch the movies?
No, not a big fan of the movies either.
That's also too long. You just maybe someone will I'll just read the Wikipedia article. I'll catch up on it. This is absolutely crazy. Like, who organized this? Who is responsible for putting this together?
Alex Benepe.
You gotta track that dude down.
He's from Middlebury, that team that's quite amazing. And it's kind of grown every year. Last year it was just 4 pitches. This year it's 9. So pretty good growth there.
Were you guys at the opening ceremonies?
Yeah, we were at the parade.
Oh, hold on. There's a Canadian team. This is an international tournament. Don't forget.
Wow.
The Canadian team is walking by, blowing vuvuzelas. I think vuvuzelas, by the way, I think they're here to stay. Like they're
not going
completely
anywhere.
infected the
They're
earth
part
at
of
this point.
sports now.
Marching.
So where do you guys stay? Can you stay on the island?
We're over LaGuardia something or another. We don't know New York. There's a couple teams staying there actually, so we cross paths sometimes.
I see a lot of tents. Are people camping, or is that just because there were tents in the Quidditch in Harry Potter?
It's probably a little bit of both. Some teams do have tents, and they just stay in them between games. It's probably mostly inspired by Harry Potter.
What's the most magical thing you've seen this weekend?
I would say if you want to see something magical, watch for snitches, because they are magical. They are gymnasts and wrestlers and cross-country runners.
Did you guys bring a Minnesota transplant snitch here with you?
No, we didn't.
No?
Yeah, he's going to run the Boston Marathon, our snitches, so he's not here today.
What is the Boston Marathon? Is that a real thing? People really run marathons?
Yeah, he ditched us.
We noticed that the snitch, in the one match we've watched so far, the snitch was employing a sort of very physical defense instead of trying to outrun everyone. Is that a very common strategy now?
It is. Snitches have no rules at all. So they can do whatever they want. You'll see a lot of times they'll pick up weapons. They'll put on ref jerseys and carry around a whistle and pretend they're a ref. During the final match last year, there were 4 snitches that got together and kind of messed with all the seekers. They have no rules, so they're pretty creative, yeah.
What's the hardest, what is the trickiest thing you've ever seen a snitch do in all of your Muggle Quidditch?
I've seen a snitch take off a player's shirt while they were being chased. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
What else? The hidden porta potties.
But the thing that was, I think, most impressive isn't that these people are playing the game. It's cool that they're playing the game, but just this day, organizing this this enormous field day. I keep seeing new elements of it. There's a band going on at all times playing Harry Potter themed music. There is butterbeer being served for food. There are commentators. There's a merch booth selling Quidditch stuff.
I believe there's a Ford Anglia right over there, the enchanted flying car from the second book. This one doesn't look like it can fly, but
this one doesn't look like it can drive. But I guess that's what the book did too. Yeah. I think even the porta potties are enchanted here. They really very thorough with the theme.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool to talk to the players that were here that made this happen. But I think probably most exciting for me was talking to the people that made this day happen. Who enabled all these people to get here together.
Yeah, definitely.
And to that end, we spoke to Eitan, who is in charge of getting all of the commentators in place about how he does that kind of thing. How many people are here?
I think at last count, they said they were around 10,000 plus. There are over 100, there are about 100 teams, around 2,000 players, and there's going to be 400 games taking place, 2 divisions, 9 fields, plus Icon Stadium where the championship's going to be happening. So it's a pretty big event. Last year we had it at Clinton Dewitt Park, which is on 59th Street in New York, and that was a huge event. There were about 10,000 people there. There were 46 teams, 750 competitors, about 10,000 spectators were there last year, and then this year they made the jump to Randall's Island, which has worked out fantastically. If you look around the scene, and there's thousands of people here. I think the food line probably has about 500 people on it, both sides, and it's just a crazy event.
Yeah, when you get here, you don't even see the Quidditch at first. It just looks like kind of like a picnic.
It's a mosh pit. I was actually shocked because I was working for the first couple hours and I didn't get to go up the hill and come down. But when I went up the hill and came down, looked across, I was legitimately flabbergasted about how many people are here.
So who is this mysterious commissioner we keep hearing about? Is he a student?
Alex Benaby, he was a student. He now does, he was a student at Middlebury. He was one of the two creators of the sport. The other creator was a guy named
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. Actually, the motto they were using for a while was that J.K. Rowling created the sport and Xander Manchel made it accessible to Muggles. Xander Manchel he's the guy that made it. He's an improv comedy who was on one of Middlebury's teams, which also plays a lot into the announcers because the announcers are all improv, stand-up, and sketch comics. And improv really has a lot of... Quidditch has a lot of its base in improv, so I think it's a really appropriate and really nice partnership they have.
Do you ever invite J.K. Rowling to come to these?
She's aware. I know she's aware of the sport. I don't know exactly what. I will tell you a funny story, though. At the Shakespeare in the Park, there was, what's his name? What's the guy that plays Snape?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman was there, and Alex Benaby was with his girlfriend, and Alex Benaby's girlfriend was like, go talk to Alan Rickman, tell him what, and he's like, I don't want to do this. He's like, no, go talk, and she convinced him to go and talk to Alan Rickman. He goes yeah, I'm in charge of Muggle Quidditch, and Alan Rickman just looks at him and goes, that's something that Dan would be more interested in, and then walked away.
That's amazing. When you say Quidditch has its roots in improv, what do you mean exactly?
Okay, so the sport was first of all made by Xander Manchel, who's an improv comic, and ever since then the announcers have always been improv comics. Middlebury is very known for their improv comedy. They have a couple troupes that are nationally recognized.
Improv comedy and dominating Quidditch team. That's what it says on the brochure there.
Legacy.
It's better than nothing, which is, I don't know. I'm sure they are good at other things. So all the announcers. So even from year one, the announcers have always been improv comics, and as Quidditch goes, we've branched out more. This year we have a partnership with the People's Improv Theater, so there's a lot of announcers from there. There's also a bunch of Upright Citizens Brigade announcers this year, and Daily Grace, Grace Helbig from Daily Grace is going to be announcing the championships with me tomorrow at 6 or 9, something like that.
Most exciting part of the day for me, I don't know about for you, wasn't when we saw that snitch get taken down. It was talking to Alex Benaby, who is sort of, the guy who invented basketball at Quidditch. I can't remember that guy's name right now. At the beginning of the sentence, I thought I knew his name.
Not important.
I don't know. But he's that guy, but for Quidditch.
He's an important person. He had to check his schedule before he gave us an interview.
Which he did, and he was extremely generous with his time. He also had an awesome top hat and a cane. I wish we had gotten a picture of that.
He did. He had a beautiful cane. It was probably a custom cane of a claw holding a snitch.
I didn't get a picture of it, but I have a theory that if we Google him later, we will be able to find a picture of him in that outfit.
I don't doubt it.
With the Gryffindor bow tie.
He probably wears that. I mean, it's a very spiffy outfit. So
here's our conversation we had with Alex. We are here with Alex Benaby, Commissioner. What is your exact title?
Commissioner of the International Quidditch Association.
And founder too, is that correct?
Co-founder.
Co-founder. How did this get started? This is crazy what I'm seeing here. How did this get started?
It started as a Sunday afternoon activity that my friends and I would play in college. Well, originally we played bocce, and then one weekend we were like, let's try something new, and my friend Xander said, wouldn't it be cool if we tried to play Quidditch? And I was pretty skeptical at first. I said, no, that doesn't sound cool at all. That sounds stupid. But I gave it a try, and it was a fantastic game from the beginning. Just a really interesting mix of different sports, and it really engaged with people on a new level, and people just got hooked on it. And I wanted to keep that going, so our sophomore year rolled around. Xander didn't want to do it anymore. I took over, and then from there, we started organizing bigger matches and got our club bigger and raised more money. Vassar College came and played against us, And USA Today wrote this big story called College Quidditch Takes Off. And then we started hearing from teams all over the country, and that's when it began to get big.
Wow.
Did you have any trouble adapting a fictional sport played by people who can fly into one that can be played by those who don't?
Well, you'd have to ask my friend Xander that, because he came up with the whole ideas, the whole rules of the sport, more or less, which have been adapted since then. But he came up with the original rules of the real-life version of the game. So I'd say the biggest challenge for him to overcome was creating a real-life person for the snitch.
It's crazy to think that you kind of started a new sport. And it's very difficult to do that. I don't know that we actually invented any sports over the last century. Maybe video games count or something? I don't know.
Maybe.
Ultimate Frisbee, I'd say, is another within the last century. But yeah, besides that, not really.
And there are people here, everyone knows the rules, playing it. There's refs, there's coach. The organization of it is incredible. Are you guys working on this year-round?
Yeah, the game goes year-round. I mean, this is our big event, the World Cup. Oh. Sorry, the snitch just threw the seeker's broom over the fence.
Awesome. Do they have to have a broom?
Yes, you have to have the broom between your legs, or you're obviously not flying.
Good point.
That makes a lot of sense. What is it? Obviously, a very exciting day. This is a huge event. Congratulations. Well, is there any aspect of it that is particularly exciting to you? Something today you're most excited about?
I am most excited right now about the weather, because it makes it really nice to stay out here, and I'm really surprised by the turnout. I mean, when we were organizing the event, the ticket sales just weren't really going anywhere, and we were worried. We were like, oh shit, we won't be able to cover our costs. And I kept telling people, I was like, don't worry. Our generation always buys tickets at the last second. They're going to wait till the day before. And then, like I said, like 2 or 3 days before, our ticket sales just went like shroom, and now there's probably, over the course of the weekend, maybe we'll get 7,000 people or more.
Are you no longer in school?
I'm no longer in school. I graduated in 2009.
But you're still organizing this tournament. You think that we can ever do it at a professional level where there's real teams, not university teams?
I'm not. I'm sure that Quidditch could be played at a professional level. I think the college tie works because it evokes the concept of Harry Potter and the game being linked to the school, and something about like the school colors. I think teams that we already have some teams that are not affiliated with schools, but I think they have a much harder time sort of starting and developing their sort of brand, because they don't have an existing brand to build on, which is the brand of the school.
It makes a lot of sense, too, with like the school pride type aspect of the game. Have you spoken to J.K. Rowling or Scholastic or anyone officially associated with it about the sport?
Yeah, we've sent plenty of letters to J.K. Rowling. She's actually sent us responses where she's basically said, this is cool, I like it.
It must be exciting to see something like a fun sport you create in your book to grow up to be something like this.
I think J.K. Rowling is probably more just kind of mystified by it. I think it's sort of like a Frankenstein thing, like sort of taking on a life of its own.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite Harry Potter book?
I would say it would have to be the third,
which was Prisoner of Azkaban. That's a good one. That's where it starts to turn, and where you start to see like, oh, this is going to get real.
Yeah, that's when the book. The first two are kind of like Scooby-Doo, like there's a mystery that the kids solve. And then the second book, shit gets real.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Do you still play Quidditch yourself?
I do not play Quidditch anymore, except for sort of casually, like if there's a friendly game going on.
Okay.
Because as commissioner of the league, I have to maintain a degree of impartiality.
Is managing this league your full-time job?
It's full-time. It's not quite a job.
Oh, too bad.
But, we're getting there.
It's very obviously a labor of love, and it's really exciting to be here and be a part of it. Thanks so much for I know you got a lot going on. Thanks so much for making time to talk to us today.
Yeah. My pleasure, guys.
It's nice to see people playing a sport based on Harry Potter, but we also had the opportunity to talk to some people who made a very popular internet musical based on Harry Potter. The Harry Potter musical.
The Harry Potter musical people were here, and they were in their element here. They had people, as we were waiting to talk to them, people were coming up wanting to take pictures of them. They are very popular among this crowd.
I was almost more excited to talk to them because they had been to the Harry Potter amusement park. I almost didn't even need to hear about the musical. I just want to know what rides they have.
I know. I'm insanely jealous of anybody who's been to that park.
Like these two.
We are here with Joe and Brittany from the Harry Potter musical.
A very Potter musical, is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, very Potter musical.
Whoops.
Now, for those that maybe aren't familiar, what is a very Potter musical?
Very Potter musical was an original parody production of the Harry Potter story that we produced in college. And we were actors in it. I played Snape and Brittany played Bellatrix Lestrange.
And Dean Thomas in the sequel.
And it was written by students. It was written by Matt Lang, Nick Lang, Brian Holden, and Darren Criss wrote the music. And Darren, of course, is now on Glee. And it was an original musical parody of Harry Potter. And we taped it just for our own personal use and to show to friends and family, and put it up on YouTube, and like overnight it had reached hundreds of thousands. By the next day it had reached millions, and now currently it's up to about 8 million hits on YouTube, the first part of it is. So it really just took off for us, and from there we've sort of been launched into the Harry Potter fan community, and they've been so welcoming, and just we're so grateful to have such a wonderfully supportive community around us.
Absolutely.
Were you into Harry Potter before the musical?
I was a fan of Harry Potter before the musical. I had read the books, I'd known the story, but I was definitely not as involved as we are now. I wasn't aware of this whole huge fandom that came up around it.
Is this your first International Quidditch tournament?
Yes, absolutely. This is actually...
Yep, me too.
This is the first time I've seen real-life Quidditch played, and it's quite amazing, actually.
And kind of violent, actually.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly brutal sport. What do you think of the whole day here?
Oh, it's amazing. It's so many people. You know, I first heard about the event, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool to see live Quidditch. And they're like, yeah, there's about 5,000 people here or more. And I was like, are you kidding me? But it's true. They're all here, and they're in full regalia. It's very intense.
It's cool to see all this kind of taking Harry Potter, both your show and what we're currently witnessing today, kind of taking Harry Potter as a base and like building off of it. Do you think that there's just going to keep going forever, people adding more stuff to the Harry Potter legend, or eventually are we going to move on to something new? Or is it something like Lord of the Rings, which is just around forever?
I think it's most akin to Lord of the Rings, or in the sci-fi realm, something akin to Star Wars, where there's this original work that's very deep and a favorite of so many people, but then so many people love it that they contribute to it, and so it just does not stop. It just keeps building and building and building, more on what the original author probably even had in mind to begin with.
I think Star Wars is a great comparison, because I think that if there was a Quidditch in Star Wars, people would have been playing it a long time ago by now. I guess they have that like hologram chess, but I bet that's a computer game. Like I bet people have tried to play that.
That's not nearly as good as this, I would say.
And being a Jedi Knight is an officially recognized religion in some countries. So that if that goes to tell you anything, people, they make it real. If it's not real, they make it real, and I think that's what we're seeing here today.
This is a form of Jedi Knight's a form of wizardry anyway,
Yeah, I would definitely say they're very akin to each other. Magic, the Force.
Yeah.
Do you think this seems like it might be? I don't know. Is this the biggest outside of the actual Harry Potter park in Orlando, which I got to get to? This seems like it may be like the biggest Harry Potter fan event. Is that true?
It's definitely one of them. This is a sporting event, which is different than some of the fan events. We were actually at a great convention this summer called LeakyCon.
I did not know what I was getting myself into when I said this might be the biggest Harry Potter event. I was completely ill prepared to make that statement.
I think you're close, though. I think you're pretty close, because I don't know how many are actually in attendance here, but I think it's somewhere around 5,000 or 6,000 people. And LeakyCon, I think, was 3,000 or 4,000 people, maybe more. I'm not sure. But that was at Universal Studios, and it was at the Harry Potter World in Orlando, Florida.
How is that park?
It's great. I've actually been there twice. I got to go there for like the inaugural thing as a guest because of the Harry Potter thing, and then I got to come back again last year as a performer too, and we get like special access to the ride after the park closes. So
oh my God, that sounds amazing.
I know.
Yeah, the 3D ride is incredible. It's by the same guys who did the Spider-Man ride.
I've been on that Spider-Man ride. That's a good ride.
That Spider-Man ride is my absolute favorite ride ever, because I am Spider-Man. But But yeah, the Harry Potter ride is in the same vein of it, and it's awesome. You should gotta check it out.
Detailed. Oh, it's so good. They've got everything covered in that park. Everything you could possibly imagine with the whole Harry Potter world.
So many aspects of Harry Potter just out there to dive into and just enjoy.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, not just Quidditch. I mean, we're looking at butterbeer. I mean, there's everything here that you could possibly imagine. But at least for Quidditch, this is the place to be today.
Couldn't agree with that more. That is most definitely true. I don't think anyone would question that. Thanks so much for talking to us, guys.
Yeah,
no
pleasure.
problem.
Thank you very much.
So that's kind of everyone we talked to today. General thoughts on your first International Quidditch World Cup, Casey?
I actually really enjoyed myself. I think this has a lot of potential as a spectator sport. It's funny to watch just because of the sort of leeway that they have. There's a lot of physical contact, even though no one's wearing any pads or protective gear.
I think nerds, there's a certain image of nerds being inside, sitting around, being lazy, and I think this is a really cool nerd event. It's a beautiful day out here. Tons of people out having fun, running around. It's this very physical activity, celebrating their love of Harry Potter, obviously. And it's cool to see it, I think.
I think so, too.
There's a really good vibe going on at the day, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like, it feels like in high school, when they are... And not even in high school, like elementary school, and like they had like field day. That's what it like. Everyone's outside and like glad to be here.
That is very much.
And how often can you say that about nerds?
You can't really.
This is the 5th year for the International Quidditch Cup, and from what I can gather, it's doubled in size every year. It's hard to imagine this doubling in size next year, but I think everyone I told about this didn't know it existed. There's still a lot of people that I think want to learn about it.
Really?
And the game, did you tell people about this and they were like, oh, you're going? You got tickets?
They didn't say you got tickets. A lot of people were...
generally aware of this real
a lot of people,
sports
some
existence?
people actually were down on it, some Harry Potter haters, but...
Really?
Well,
who needs to hang out with people like that anyway?
No one does.
Do you think there's like going to be like a Hunger Games, like where people actually compete like that?
Oh, man. Don't even get me started. How awesome would that be?
Or maybe, what's the one in Battlestar Galactica? Like Star Ball or something? Man. What do they play? There's the Buccaneers are the team.
You mean when they had like all the slanted walls with the holes in it? That sounds...
That should be a sport too.
Yes, it should be.
But it's hard to imagine how Harry Potter, maybe the only thing you compare to is something like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. I think something like that comes along so rarely. Because obviously these things like Hunger Games or Battlestar Galactica have a lot of fans, but you're never going to get 1,000 people to play whatever the game in Battlestar Galactica is. God, I feel like it's Triangle Ball. I feel like people are going to be furious that I can't remember it. I'm so sorry. I'm letting all of you down.
Yeah.
And it just shows, I think, what a unique place Harry Potter has in the world of pop culture.
I think they do a really good job with it. I'm curious to see what happens now that Harry Potter is like the initial excitement of the series is over, the books are over, the movies are over.
Yeah.
There's nothing really else coming. Pottermore, doesn't really.
Right, and there's a theme park. But you're right that there was always something new Harry Potter on the horizon. And this, only in the past 6 months, really, are we living in this world where we got all the Harry Potter we're going to get, and now it's up to us to have fun with it. And that's why you're seeing things, I think, like the Potter musical and like this Quidditch tournament we're at today.
Right.
And it's I mean, there's only 3 there's the I was going to say there's only 3 Lord of the Rings books, but there's the Silmarillion and all this other stuff. But, Silmarillion, is that it?
Silmarillion.
But, so there's not that much, but there's not that much of it. There wasn't that much Star Wars until, I don't know, the early 90s when they started writing all the books and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see, it'll be interesting to see how long Harry Potter's going to stick around if they're not doing it, but I think it's got a pretty good chance.
I think it does too. It's sufficient. It's not just people like here nerding out over Harry Potter. I mean, there's some of that, but it's also people playing a game, enjoying the game. And there are people here who haven't even read all the books and seen all the movies, but they're still here. I see
a lot of kids too. Like, it's really cute to see the kids to the side, playing their own little version of Quidditch. And we saw this. Did you remember when we were over here? There were like some little kids. Yeah, they were like probably middle school age, and they had their capes on and their brooms, and they were throwing a ball around like they're Quidditch hopefuls. Just because this is the only place. If you're in middle school, you can't do that and not get beat up in middle school, right?
Of course not.
I think elementary school you can maybe get away with it. But so it was great. No one was beating the kids up. It was really a terrific day here at the court. And it's so funny because right across outside the field, outside the fence, there's a driving range over there. There's a soccer field over here where people are playing soccer. And I wish we could get down to the soccer field. I don't think our press passes cover it.
No.
To interview some of the soccer players about what they think about what's going on up here.
That would be really interesting to hear. They probably don't care at all.
You made an interesting observation as we were walking around. Absolutely no advertising.
Yes, I was very surprised. We talked to the commissioner a little bit about it, that it's not really a money-making operation at all, but There's also, I mean,
No, like, Monster Energy drink presents the Quaffle.
no like radio station sponsors or like any, you know, when you go to things like that, they're usually banners and tents everywhere.
Yeah, totally. And it's that, I think that contributes to the feeling of why it's so pure and fun.
Yeah.
A great day out here at the Quidditch tournament. You ready to head back to New York, where we will be made fun of for participating in this?
Yes, we will.
Thanks so much for doing this with me, Casey.
Thank you for having me.
And just like that, that's another Jeff Rubin show. Another new episode this Tuesday, every Tuesday. I'll remind you, if you follow me on Twitter at Jeff Rubin Show, on my Facebook fan page, on my blog, that is jeffrubin.com, or of course on, what's the last thing? I forgot it. On the YouTube page, youtube.com/Jeff Rubin, where you will find the enhanced version of the show that has pictures. I am very excited about next week's episode, and I'll see you guys then.